So last night I finally got to see John Wick Chapter 2. Now in Australia, John Wick has been delayed by 2 months in comparison to America, so I feel like I've been waiting forever for it. We still don't have the proper release date as it comes out next Thursday, but last night there was an advanced screening, so I absolutely had to go see that because I just absolutely love Keanu Reeves. I love John Wick, so I was really excited to go see it. My expectations going into the film were incredibly high. Usually I try not to do that, but there's no helping it. And the movie was absolutely fantastic. I loved every second of it. The film goes longer than the first John Wick, and it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. They easily could have made it longer, and I would have loved every second of it. Before going in, I didn't actually know too much of the plot for this one. The trailer didn't really give too much away, and especially we don't really have the trailer here that often because we had it and that was delayed and then they got rid of it, then it was delayed again, and then every time the trailer came back, the movie just got delayed. So they're not really advertising it that much in Australia. So I didn't know too much of the plot, and I avoided all reviews and all spoilers because I didn't want to know anything about it before going into it. So I don't want to talk too much about the plot because I feel like it's better if you go in not knowing what to expect. In the first movie, he has this emotional drive, basically, because of what happened to his dog and what happened to his car. Like, that emotion's pushing him. In this one, it's not the emotional drive that's really pushing the storyline along. That emotional drive is still there, which makes John Wick such a great character because you can see the emotion, but there's also more of a vengeance kind of plot thrown into this and kind of the need to survive. So the storyline is fantastic, and there's a lot of new characters brought in which are very, very interesting kind of in their own way in how they kind of speak about John Wick. Because as you know, like in the first one, they kind of talk to him as this boogeyman, like he's kind of this myth, this legend that they're all scared of. But then there's also like a new dynamic of kind of how they respect him and like how they want to help him, and then also like how they're kind of scared to help him. So we get to know more about John Wick and kind of more about his background, as well as getting to know more about these other new characters and kind of more about the old, I guess, as well. And this one also concentrates more on the underground workings of the Continental. So we're getting to know more about everything, as well as getting that emotional drive and vengeance drive to push the storyline along. Because at the end of the day, this is about John Wick. So as of course, like, we're still concentrating on John Wick, and Keanu Reeves does a fantastic job. Keanu Reeves is one of my favourite actors. I grew up watching the majority of his movies. I honestly love him, so I'm kind of biased about most of his performances. There are a few movies I've seen recently which I was not a fan of, but John Wick definitely shows his full potential. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen the YouTube videos where he's practicing the actual stunts and practicing with the guns and that. Like, he's actually so dedicated to this role. And it's just wonderful watching the fighting sequences because you know he's really doing all this work. And the fighting sequences in this movie are absolutely incredible. It's my favourite part of John Wick. They do such wonderful jobs creating these sequences, and sometimes like it's really quick and then other times it's slow, and they just do such a wonderful combination, because usually most films just pick one or the other and then just keep bashing that into our skulls, where this one, like, they don't mind changing it over every now and then. Another thing they really do well in John Wick, and especially this one, they use color contrasting a lot. So there's like a scene where they're kind of in a museum and it's a very white background, and they constantly show like the blood spatter, which the whole time I was watching I'm like, Dexter would be really proud of this. And it's just such a wonderful job how they constantly use color and kind of the background to show more of the violent aspects of the film rather than showing the actual impact into that person's body. They do another nightclub scene in this, which if you've seen the first one, you know the nightclub scene, like, it's one of the standout scenes. This is also a standout. There's also a mirror room. They've just done so well using backgrounds and like different avenues to kind of concentrate more on the fighting sequences, and they're just really enjoyable to watch. There's been a lot of criticism, because I have checked out reviews since I've seen it, about they don't believe there's enough motivation to really believe his kind of why he's doing this time. And I disagree. I feel like there is a lot of motivation there, and it's all really understandable. It's not just one or the other. Like, he has multiple motivations for it. There's great performances in this. I feel like some characters weren't really needed. They brought Lawrence Fishburne in for a character, and it was kind of cool seeing Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne back on screen, but at the same time, I just feel like his character wasn't needed as much, and they easily could have used someone else. Like, he didn't really add that much into the film. I'm really excited to see where Chapter 3 is going, especially the way the film ended. I don't want to talk too much about the plot or give too much away, but there's kind of this thing that happens towards the end that made me go, like, this is a bit far-fetched. Like, it's kind of reminding me, like, I am watching a movie, where sometimes I like to pretend, like, oh, you know, like, I like to just invest myself into this movie and kind of pretend like I'm not watching a movie. But it was just kind of far-fetched. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm watching a movie. But it's still really interesting to see where they're going to take Chapter 3. I'm hoping that Australia doesn't get Chapter 3 delayed. This sounds really annoying me. So I'm really interested in seeing where Chapter 3 goes. I highly recommend seeing Chapter 2, especially if you're a fan of the first one. It's definitely worth going to see in the cinema. I'm going to go see it again for sure. I saw it with my dad last night, so if any of my friends want to go see it, hit me up. But I love Keanu Reeves. I love the movie. I highly recommend going to see it. Honestly, it's easily going to make my top 10 movies of the year, because that's just how biased I am. And I will definitely be buying this on DVD. I don't actually have the first one, because when I was going to buy the first one, I found out they announced the second one. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to wait until that comes out, and I'll buy them in a pack. And then, of course, like, the third one was announced. So I'm like, no, I have to wait even longer. But luckily, my dad owns it, so I still get to watch it. But yes, highly recommend going to check it out. Especially, check out some of Keanu Reeves' other films, and especially the YouTube videos of him practicing, because it's really unbelievable. Like, he's just so dedicated, and I could gush about this for ages, but I'm not going to. So, like, comment, subscribe, especially comment if you've seen the movie and what you thought of the plot and what you think, like, they might go with the third one, because, yeah, like, it's kind of balancing on far-fetched, but really awesome. Again, thanks as always for watching, and bye.